Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, there is the old Japanese proverb that once you see the path broadly, you see it in all things. Once you understand confession through projection, you understand Hakeem Jeffries. Behold!
Comer said yesterday on the floor that you had Jeffrey Epstein over for dinner and took money from him back in 2013. This was after he was on the sex offender list. Any comment on that? And will you be holding members accountable regardless of party affiliation if there were any misdeeds related to the Epstein files?
Was that a serious question or a serious statement from malignant clown James Comer that I had Jeffrey Epstein over for dinner, that I accepted money from Jeffrey Epstein? What's extraordinary to me about the clown show on the other side of the aisle is that they lie with impunity on things that are objectively verifiable. And why do they do that? It's because for months, Republicans have been burying the Jeffrey Epstein files, not Democrats. Our view continues to be the same. We want to make sure that what the survivors have asked for, which is full and complete transparency in order to bring about accountability, actually happens. And Congress decisively and in a bipartisan way acted yesterday with respect to the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's a victory for the survivors and a victory for the American people. And Donald Trump needs to sign that bill into law expeditiously.
Once you understand that all they can do is accuse their adversaries of what they are guilty of, it all makes sense. And you notice how immediately it's the biggest red flag of deception. The first thing that he does in answering the question is deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Look at this. Let's listen to this.
Serious statement from malignant clown James Comer.
Is that a serious statement from malignant clown James Comer? Now, incidentally, for what it's worth, because all shall be revealed, we're seeing what's going on behind closed doors, and we're seeing what the Democrats are doing. I think it's an amazing. It is a big day for transparency to some extent. We're going to get into the shutdown of the censure of Stacy Plaskett. Stacy Plaskett, who was texting chummy. It's just one of her constituents, a convicted sex offender who's got her number on speed dial. This is from Perplexity Comet, because ChatGPT is total rubbish. Activist rubbish. Hakeem Jeffries did not personally accept money from Jeffrey Epstein, nor is there evidence that Epstein donated to Jeffrey's campaign or attended any related events. A political consultant working with Jeffrey's campaign did send a 2013 fundraising email inviting Epstein to a Democratic Party event, but the message was not written or sent by Jeffries himself, and Democrats stress he never met or had any direct contact with him. We could steel man that a little bit, they just send out invitations to big donors like Jeffrey Epstein, convicted sex offender that they were fraternizing with up until his alleged suicide. So the biggest news of the day was Stacy Plaskett, at least in my view, live texting with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein during congressional hearings where she was asking questions of Michael Cohen and apparently, didn't know enough about what the hell was going on. And so she had to get some clarity on some people's names from sex offender Jeffrey Epstein live on TV. Let me see. Is this? Well, she's come out and defending herself, doubling down like pathological narcissists do. Oh, I don't want to play the whole thing here. It's a long one.
Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching. As Michael Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise. And at the beginning of that...
Remember what's going on here. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. She's been busted live texting a convicted sex offender getting advice while questioning a convicted perjurer, Michael Cohen. Trump is the victimizer and she's the victim. This is what was going on. Let me refresh your memory. Let me explain to you why I was seeking advice from a sex offender.
Hearing, the ranking member, Jim Jordan, had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down.
She's a victim. Jim Jordan's the aggressor because he disrespected Elijah Cummings. Okay.
And I turned to Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up. And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing.
And Jeffrey Epstein's, how many did she respond to that day? You know, if she had gotten censured, I don't know what sort of examinations they can do or depositions. How many did she respond to? Of all of the friends, because Jeffrey Epstein arguably was her best friend there, she responded to him. She said, oh, I'm responding to foes, anybody. I just need to go get information from anybody that I think might help me, even if it's convicted sex offenders.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation.
No, but it was public knowledge at that time. He was a sex offender, arguable pedophile. It was known then. Oh, I didn't know he was under federal investigation. Again, I just knew that he got a sweetheart deal back in the day.
And who was sharing information with me.
I'll pause it right there. He was a convicted sex offender is sharing information with Stacy Plaskett so that she can use it as extortion against Donald John Trump. I mean, the amazing thing is that she doesn't understand what she just said out loud there. She was knowingly collaborating, colluding, and conspiring with a sex offender so that he could provide potentially, arguably, allegedly incriminating information against her political adversaries. Geez, it's almost like that's exactly what Jeffrey Epstein was throughout his history, his MO. Being used for by intelligence. And in case you had any doubts about the intelligence aspect of this now, it's all coming out. Everything shall come out in the wash. 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
National security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies, in intelligence agencies. National security.
This is the same Speaker Johnson who accidentally outed Donald Trump as being an informant for the FBI. Now confirming basically that Epstein is intelligence or was working with intelligence, because there could be no real risk of revealing sources and methods of intelligence unless Epstein was intertwined with intelligence. And without belaboring the point, yesterday, they moved to censure Stacy Plaskett for texting a convicted sex offender during congressional hearings for the purposes of obtaining potentially extortive material that she could use against her political adversary. They refrained from censuring her because 3 turncoat scoundrel Republicans, I don't remember what their names are right now, voted not to censure her so that Democrats wouldn't censure a alleged sex crime individual because, you know, threatening to release revenge porn is, in my view, a sex crime. Corey Mills. These people are criminals and they are in the government. They control the government. They control the levers of power. They have the monopoly on violence and they are out there protecting themselves like the dirty, rotten scoundrels that they are. People are saying Thomas Massie voted against the censure. He didn't. He voted in favor of censuring Stacy Plaskett. It was 3. I think it was Ohio. I forget the other 2. The gentlemen of the bar protect the gentlemen of the bar. It is corruption through and through, and you should all be outraged. We should all be outraged. They've revealed their criminality. They literally fraternize with and use the fruits of a convicted pedophile to get information on their political adversaries. They work with criminals in real time. They then double down. They then lie about their knowledge of, their connections with. And then they argue that the person that they were trying to blackmail, arrest, jail, and then assassinate is the true victimizer, and they're the victims. Pulling out the race card, pulling out the woman card, pulling out whatever card they can pull out. Everyone should be outraged. And for those who are saying that revealing the Epstein files would reveal nothing, it's a distraction. A, it's not. B, my goodness, I'm going to take another victory lap. You were wrong. I was right. We were all right. Those who remained principled on this issue. We're seeing it. What's her face is coming out now, Pam Bondi, and saying, well, there'll be some, well, we're going to abide by the law. Hold on, I just got to play this clip real quick, and this will be the last one. We got to abide by the law. Listen to this.
A new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney passed.
You will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law again. While
follow the law. You don't need to reiterate you're going to follow the law. This is like a Jen Psaki. I'll circle back to you.
Protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement
and
the new information
that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward. And we will continue to provide maximum transparency.
Transparency, follow the law. What was the other one? New information. If you've made public statements and you're now acknowledging there's new information that you acquired in the last 6 months, you should not have made a premature statement when you did not have all information. Now, you can always argue, we didn't know what information we didn't have. That is why you might not make definitive statements based on definitive knowledge of evidence that you allegedly don't definitively have at the time. Pam Bondi, I don't place blame. I've said it before. At this point, they should find a new attorney general. The mess that she's made from the get-go. If you make definitive statements when you don't know that you don't have additional information, you made a bed that you're going to have to sleep in, unfortunately. Now, the problem is, a lot of people are just not going to believe this excuse. No, there's new information that came out in the last 6 months. You're going to follow the law? Full transparency? These are buzzwords that are not followed by action, and people are rightly concerned with performance and suspicious of. Because you can't have this many gaffes without people starting to get suspicious and starting to ask their own questions.